From CBS 4, this is Haystack TV, powered by HaystackHelp.com. Finding reliable services can be like finding a needle in a haystack. With HaystackHelp.com, finding the needle just got a lot easier. Now here's the host of Haystack TV, Chris Kane.
Drowning in ever-increasing debt can leave us feeling overwhelmed and helpless. Most of us probably don't know what the right answers are for getting out of a financial nightmare. Debt settlement programs might sound like a good option, but there is nothing in the law that says a bank has to go along with them. Only bankruptcy can get you a court-ordered solution. Ben Yablon graduated from the University of Denver Law School in 2002. He's a member of the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys, and he only represents consumer debtors. Bankruptcy attorney Benjamin Yablon joins us today to explain what you need to know about bankruptcy. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So what we hear a lot from people is that they're embarrassed to file a bankruptcy. What do you say to them in that situation?
In my opinion, it's the banks that should be embarrassed. If there were any reasonable framework in which people could work through their debts outside of bankruptcy, I'd be all for it. But there really isn't. It's basically an adversarial system by the bank's own choosing, and without bankruptcy protection, you often end up with wage garnishments and home foreclosures eventually.
Now, what about these companies that are out there that offer non-bankruptcy solutions?
Sure. So debt settlement companies are typically what people explore prior to filing bankruptcy. And in my opinion, they're a shell game. They push the debt a little further downstream. They do nothing to force the banks to deal with it one way or another, and you often end up in an emergency bankruptcy as a result.
No, you really do. And what we see is that your credit is as bad, if not worse, than going through a bankruptcy, and it takes longer to repair than after you come out of a bankruptcy.
Right. So with the bankruptcy filing, there's really some finality. In Chapter 7, you're done in about 90 days, and then we can start repairing your credit immediately. In a debt consolidation, you're in an open default status on your credit bureaus until the entire consolidation is wrapped up, or alternatively, you end up getting sued and forced into a bankruptcy.
Absolutely. Now, it's really important, I believe, to talk to an attorney before you go and start making any of these major financial decisions. Take the time and find out what your options are. You don't have to go down that path if you don't want to, but find out your options.
You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family to know what all the options are. Typically, what people end up doing is borrowing money from friends or family members. That can be a huge mistake.
Yes.
Or liquidating retirement accounts, accounts that could have been protected in a bankruptcy. So it's important to talk to a lawyer before you make any of those major decisions. If you're falling behind on your payments or just barely making the minimum payments, talk to an attorney. Figure out what all the options are first.
Yeah. Now, what should someone need to know before they come in to see you?
Basically nothing. It's my job.
Okay.
You're going to come in for a consultation. We're going to go through the case in detail and make sense out of options and timeframes. And you just need to know that you're struggling.
Yeah. And I think the real key in the message to people that are out there that are feeling embarrassed, it's not your fault. You don't really see people that take advantage of the system in a negative way. I mean, mostly you're seeing people coming in because they lost a job. Their medical bills are too high. Bad things happen to good people. These are not crooks that are out there, because you're not going to work with a crook.
I won't represent someone who's dishonest. Bankruptcy is there. It's your right as an American. You owe it to yourself and to your family to explore every option that's out there before making any major decisions. And bankruptcy is there for people that aren't criminals. So, of course, we certainly don't represent people that are out to do it wrong.
Yeah, and it's a law that's been put in place. It's available to you to wipe your debts clean and just have a fresh start.
It's a constitutional right.
And you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family. In my opinion, you don't owe it to the banks. You don't owe it to the credit card companies. So, Ben, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to tell our viewers how they can get a hold of you.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Bankruptcy attorney Benjamin Yablon can help you navigate the complicated and changing landscape of debt. He's guided thousands of clients to favorable outcomes. Call him today at 303-562-3167 or visit his website, yablonlaw.com. Remember that going through the bankruptcy process also means repairing your credit score. Take that step and turn around your financial situation. The number once again is 303-562-3167. Thanks for watching. HaystackHelp.com is a free consumer referral service. You can find more reliable companies like bankruptcy attorney Ben Yablon by going to HaystackHelp.com.